This is third video on series where I'm remaking my bedroom. So I've made the bed and the nightstands, and here I show what I will be building on this video. So there I will add 4 shelves, visualizing it nicely with my finger. And below the window I will add bench with 2 drawers. And this is the second time ever I try to model something in Fusion. This is not the complete design, but I just needed to get this to kind of visualize how things will look like and to get an idea of the measurements. But I'm super noob when it comes to using Fusion. It would be nice if I knew how to use it. It would make my life easier, but as of today, as of now, it's still very hard for me. But basically, as you saw from the design, in a way this is super simple because everything is straight, there's no fancy joinery, there's no like weird shapes, which means that most of the things I will be doing is actually normal panels. And what I'm doing here, I'm cutting the panels ready for glue up, and I ended up making 10 panels for this project. So obviously I will not show how I glued up every single panel because the technique is the same. I'm using dominoes for every single glue up I can, just to make the alignment easier. Same here, I use dominoes for every single panel I made, so all 10 of them. On this video I will only show one, because there's no point in showing the same thing 10 times over and over. But basically, you've seen this before, I'm sure, if you have been watching any YouTube videos or built yourself. Nothing special in the way I do my glue ups. So, adding the dominoes and putting stuff in clamps. Obviously, it took a while doing 10 of these. I don't have a ton of clamps. I don't do woodworking full time. I'm in my workshop only in the evenings and on weekends and only every other week. So doing these took calendar-wise probably a week or something from me. Then I just gave them a quick sanding to get rid of all the glue spots. And the way I decided to add the legs to the bench is that I will use this, I don't even know what it's called, this is like a half dado or rabbit or something, but I mean you see this groove where I will just glue the leg. So basically I added one to the ends of this panel and one at the middle. And then my router made weird noises here. Anyway, so technically very simple thing. So now I have the grooves ready for glue up. And as always, I always glue my panels and do everything oversized, and I only cut them to final length at the very final moment when I need to do it. And here is the moment, so I'm now getting ready for gluing up the legs. So I am cutting the legs and the bench to the final dimension. For me, this is the preferred method because I found out that this way I can be extremely accurate. If I try to measure everything and pre-cut everything, there's always tiniest differences with the length of the board, so this is just the way I always do it. But even so, I'm just quickly testing, kind of a dry fitting here, that everything is correct, and it is. For making the glue up easier, I'm using these things, I don't even know what they are called, but basically you get the idea. They help here to make sure that when I glue the leg and add the clamps, these will keep the leg part in exactly 90 degrees. It could be done without it, but I try to use all the help I can to make sure that nothing gets misaligned as part of the glue up. So these are not really the clamps that will actually hold the force, these are just to aid me before I add the actual clamps. that will then be making sure that the glue up works fine. And I needed to do this in 3 parts because I'm using this middle groove as help where I put my clamps on. So first I glued one leg. When it was dry, then I'm gluing up the second one, and when this is dry, then I can glue the final piece when I don't need the middle groove anymore. So again, calendar wise, as I am not doing this full time, only on evenings, just doing this glue up basically took me 3 days because I always needed to wait for the part to be dry before I could continue with the next one. When I was done, I gave it a quick sanding. This is not the final sanding by any means, but just to get the glue spots out again as I did before. And then there's one more thing. I wanted to keep this bench section too long as well. You see here that I left this tiny lip or gap, whatever. The same reason than before, I don't trust my measurements. I'd rather do it in this way, that have it slightly oversized, and then I just use my router to make sure that it aligns perfectly with the leg. This is just some of the techniques I have learned from other YouTubers. I'm still very much a beginner when it comes to building anything, so I'm just copying the good things I see from others. What I'm doing here is I'm adding this groove to the back of the bench just to have a place where I can put the back panel on. So here you see how it looks like. So as mentioned, this is nothing more than a slot for easy glue up for the back panel. And as always, obviously router leaves this round corner here, so the options would be to make the back panel follow the shape, in my opinion, especially because this will be against the wall, no one will see this. I think it's easier just to use your chisel and get the round corner out, because then these parts here I can just cut straight and go directly to the glue up. So if it was something that was visible on the piece, I actually might prefer to have the rounded corner and modify the back panel to fit that one. But as mentioned, this will be against the wall, no one will ever see it, which then I think this was like the easier way to achieve what I wanted to do. And I added a bit of glue, that's the thing that will actually hold this in place, and then I'm just adding these small brad nails basically to work as a clamp. I mean, I could have used my clamps as well, but I think this was an easier and quicker way in this application. Now obviously I need boxes or drawers to go in, if you saw how the Fusion design looked like. And I decided to go with probably like the easiest and most simple way you can build a box. This is like a super beginner version. But then again, I didn't see any reason why this should be any fancier here. So this is like, as mentioned, the most basic box you can ever build. I'm just gluing everything together. And what you see me doing here, just adding a bit of glue to the bottom where I will glue the bottom panel. But basically no one will ever see this because obviously it will be against the floor, which is the reason why I didn't do anything fancy here. So same thing than before, glue and a few brad nails, and then the boxes are basically done. So I'm building this for myself, there's really no reason to make it more fancy here. But obviously I don't want the plywood to be visible, so here I'm cutting the front panel to the drawers, and here my table saw tried to shoot me with this offcut. You see me jumping when I see that something is happening, so you never know about these tables, so sometimes they like to shoot you with things. Luckily I didn't get hit. But here you see I'm just quickly testing out that the fit is where I want it to be, so now you also see where this panel is going to. Now before finalizing and attaching those panels to the drawers, I decided to add a small round over to basically every single piece. This and the shelves and the other sections. And while recording this, I have not installed this yet. I have never done floating shelves. I don't know if the installation will be successful, because I have never ever done floating shelves in any way or form. So I will probably do the installation as I'm now recording this audio today or tomorrow. So when the video is out, obviously you will see and hear how it went, but as of now I don't know how it will go. But what they will need is this groove behind, because I want the hardware to be completely hidden. So this is where the hardware will go. And if anyone knows how this should actually be installed, please let me know, because this is just like a method I figured for myself. So I'm using my drill press to make this installation or guide block that I'm using here. The only reason is that I was kind of hoping that this way will ensure that the hole I drill will go as straight as possible. And we'll see. So the hardware is 10 millimeters. I'm using 11 millimeter bit here, so I decided to make it slightly bigger, which will hopefully make the installation easier. But anyway, if there's a proper way, do let me know. Then I decided to add these smallest wheels on the boxes just for them to be sliding out easily. Then it came time to decide what I will do with the handle. Will I buy or build it to be part of the panel? I decided that I don't want any hardware on it, so I'm just cutting this template that I will be using to make the handle or pull or whatever it's called in English. It's not my native language, as you can obviously tell. But very normal technique here, so nothing special obviously. So I'm just using my bandsaw to cut close to the line which I drew. I am not cutting the final shape with this one yet. The only reason here is that when I'm using my router with the template, I don't have to remove as much material as before, or as I would if I didn't do this step. In my early days, I have sometimes tried to cut too much with the router, and for anyone who has ever built anything with wood, you know that's a recipe for disaster. So I think I've learned my lessons, so this is the reason why I'm doing it like this. And it's easy, it's nice, because also using this template I can be sure that these two drawers will be exactly the same. They are in exactly the same position and the shape is the same, so it will just look nice, and it was very easy to do, so very basic. Then on attaching the drawer fronts, I decided to do this one technique. I think I learned it from 4Eyes in one of the builds, that you drill the screws from the box so that they come out just very lightly, and then I hit the panel on them so that I can get the mark where they need to go, and then I use my drill just to get those marks slightly bigger. And this is a very easy way to install this, so with this one I can then just hang this to the screws that you see coming out from the drawer box, and then I just drive them through. So again, there's a million ways how this can be done, but I think this is actually very easy way to install drawer fronts, so it worked out exactly as I wanted. Then the part that everybody loves the most, sanding. Obviously I will not show the footage of me sanding everything here for hours and hours, but one thing I always do is that before the final sanding I do the water popping. It's probably depending on what finish you use, but I always use Rubio monocoat, and I think this is just the best way to ensure that the end result will be nice and smooth. So water popping, then final sanding, and then it is time to add add the Rubio monocoat to everything I have built here. Now at the time of recording this is basically where I was yesterday evening. I applied the oil to the bench, to the drawers, to the shelves. They are still drying in my workshop. Probably today or tomorrow I will bring these home and do the installation. So as mentioned before, right now I don't know if I'll be able to install these shelves as I want to install them, but we'll see. So the video will continue, but as of now I don't know how it will actually go. Quite surprisingly, at least to me, the installation went pretty much perfectly. So the storyboard I'm using here actually worked out very well, so all good with that one. The small issue I have with these shelves is the hardware I'm using. So as mentioned, the installation went fine, but the hardware is a bit flimsy. I mean, this is the first one I ever do. I didn't really know what to order, how thick the metal should be, how long they should be. So they work fine, because at the end of the day they will be holding t-shirts and other clothing like that, but I wouldn't climb on these. So as mentioned, the metal bars are not the strongest out there, so I'll keep them, no need to redo them, but if I ever build something like this again, I will make sure to order much more sturdier hardware that I will be using with floating shelves. But anyway, I'm very happy with the end result. So the bench and the drawers, they work perfectly. The shelves, they work fine. And if you watched the video, thank you. And as always, I really appreciate like, comments, subscribe. With that, I have 2 more videos to do, then I'm done with my bedroom.